One of my rivals in the MSW Discord server has asked me to give a defense for why the gliding glaciers, for some reason, against logic, are my times 3 multiplier for this year's Marble League Fantasy. All that's coming up. I don't know why I picked them, but I'll give you a good defense for it. Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, everybody. We are back! And my name has still been Brendan for all this time, and it still is, and it probably will be over the course of this season. So, still Brendan, MSW's back.
And I'm still Commander Wolf.
Thank you, Wolf! Dude, this is exciting. This is very exciting. This kind of thing, this kind of activity, and speaking about Marble Sports, hasn't happened in a very long time. So I'm sure a lot of you guys who listened regularly back when we were regular are very excited for what we have to say today. We have a lot to cover. We're going to allow the 4 to 5 episodes that we'll record during the course of this ML season to be as long as needs be, but probably not over 2 hours, probably not over an hour and a half, but as long as needs be to cover everything that we want to cover, because we're not giving you one every, a week of the year now. No, we probably never did. Probably the best we ever did was about 45 in a year. But all that said, we're going to let it go. We're going to talk it up. But let's give us a first life recap, okay? And just kind of let you know what's been on with our lives. It's been about 6 months. And then we'll talk about what we're going to cover today. We're going to have a guest on later after the intro. So that's exciting,
has it been
too.
6 months? Really?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, think about it. Today's about November. And the last episode I believe we posted was about May, wasn't it?
Really?
It's about
That's crazy.
Wait, let me check. That's a good question. Let's just let it be. If I go
3 months ago, it says.
3 months? What did we record 3 months ago?
The end of M1.
M1 went all the way into the midsummer?
Yeah.
It's been 3 months. So anyway, we're back, and this should be a good one. So, new in my life, not much new. I am back at college. I've been through about 2 internships now with my engineering job. I'm kind of set. I think I'm going to end up working there in Florida, in Orlando. Back in college, finishing up. I got 1 more year coming up next year. I'm no longer working for the Races and Fun Hot Wheels channel commentary thing.
Oh.
There's reasons for that. It wasn't necessarily what I wanted, but it makes a lot of sense. That channel, I will be honest, has gone very slowly downhill since I started with them about 3.5 years ago. I recorded just under 250 videos for that channel.
Wow.
And I think, my price continued to climb and his channel continued to decline. And I think that was part of why we ended up parting ways. But other stuff was going on. It's not like the end of the world for me, but, everything runs its course, right? I do have another gig, of course, a lot more successful and lucrative gig working with that. I think I mentioned this way back in May, but the Baccarat, competitive Baccarat TV show that's launching. It's like that, it's like World Series of Poker vibes, but for Baccarat. And so again, that's finally going live beginning of November. So yeah, we've been rehearsing since May. 6 months of rehearsals, about 2 rehearsals a week, probably about 6 hours, 8 hours a week for 6 months. They are really serious about this, and that's clear by the payment they're giving out. So, man, that's making it all right. I thank God for that opportunity he's given me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's been awesome. There's other gigs cooking up. I do kind of do some Rocket League casting now. However, that one's not really paying that much. It's more for experience. And then there's a few other gigs coming up in the future. So I'm keeping my broadcasting dream alive, and it's very exciting. Greg Wood's the inspiration for that, as a lot of you know, or at least a very big part of the inspiration for that. And I'm keeping it going. I might be back in the marble scene for broadcasting soon. There's someone who's building Marbula 1 type racing. They are planned to launch with live streams on it in 2024. So if that holds up, then we go. There was another gig that seemed very confident and that they wanted to do for their game, but they haven't talked to me since they launched the game. I think they had an idea and then it fell through because, making videos is hard. So that's why RML ended up falling through. He went 2 years and then realized, wow, it takes a lot of time to make these videos. It takes a lot of time to edit these videos. It takes a lot of time to make them look good enough quality that they might even gain some attention. And so it's hard to make videos in general, and especially Marble Sports. So I don't know, all that's in the works and good. Life's good. Other stuff going on in my personal life, but we're here for marbles. So Waff, tell us about you, man.
All right. Well, I guess work side of things, I've settled in more. I finished up a big project that I was really proud of. Like, it was kind of a safety thing. Like, I got burned, so I made something to prevent that situation from happening again. That's nice. I recently finished a really massive video essay about Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I spent literally like a month plus of doing basically nothing but that for an entire literally I think like near the end of September, and or if you use all of September, I spent on that basically, like scripting, writing, recording, revising, and then editing the whole thing together. It's called Demon Slayer Mugen Train: Confronting Death Through Music and Heart. It's 2.5 hours, but it's a labor of love, and I have a really great message in it that I think some people need to hear. It's a bit on the mature side, mainly because the movie itself is for a more mature audience. So I won't put links to it here, but if you want to go find it, you can. And then recently, the Symphonica preservation project that I work on, I recently figured out how to kind of convert some of the internal files into actual PNGs and audio files and text files. And I had mentioned, like, on a previous episode, like, I was like trying to figure out if the orchestra turns blue if you get a certain combo level. Well, I found the textures, and they do not. It does just stop at pink. So that mystery has been solved in my life recently.
Oh yeah. And you had to be like perfect or something, right?
That was my theory. Like, basically need to be like the absolute highest number possible. But like, sure enough, it really did just stop at like the pink at like 450. So,
sometimes
it's solved.
What it is.
But yeah, that's been what I've been up to. I've been doing that. I'm right now kind of relaxing a bit, trying to, after working so hard for so many days in a row, trying to do like a fun little voice acting character color wheel thing for our voice acting group that I'm in, and then maybe I'll move on to another video. I'm gonna be doing an interview with Half-Life 390 soon about his little short like Minecraft film that he did a long time ago. It's a lot of things are just kind of happening.
Well, that sounds good, man. A lot going on. I'm glad. You seem to stay busy, stay happy. That's good news. Yeah, that's probably about it for the intro. I've of course been I've been staying dedicated to the gym and working out and everything. So, keeping the weight I want and continuing to gain muscle. So that's also something that's been a goal, and I've been spending more time there. So that's been good. I've reached a nice athletic build. I'm trying to be a little bit more physique, but not, takes a lot of work. The gym is hard, man, and it's hard to get there over and over. It's hard to keep that consistent, especially with everything going on. But I don't know, that's also something I'm working on. I got into frisbee golf or disc golf recently too. Kind of like, I've been golfing for a long time, so I also figured I'd add frisbee golf to that in case I can't access my clubs and $100 to go to the range or what. It's usually expensive. That's exaggeration, but not cheap sport. But so that's been basically it. Disc golf is hard, but it's really fun, and I'm learning it. So that's my life. Well, it's time for marbles. We've already spent a lot of time in this intro, so let's go to the news. I can't believe I'm saying that again. It's been a long time. And then when we come back, we'll get our guest on, and we'll discuss through the drama of the community. To the news.
Well, hello, Marble Sports fans! It's been quite a while, but we're finally back. There is so much news to go over, so let's not wait. Marble League 2023 has finally begun, and we got 3 events to go over. First up is Team Pursuit, a new event where the teams snake their way down a Gravitrack slope. By the end, the Crazy Cat's Eyes came in a very dominant first place, followed by the Savage Speeders in second, and the Midnight Wisps in third. Next up, we have a returning event, the Steeplechase, which ended with Team Plasma in first, the Rojo Rollers in second, and the Crazy Cat's Eyes in third. However, there were a lot of scoring issues with this event. Factoring those in, the third place position should actually go to the Gliding Glaciers. Jamar has yet to correct the scores just yet, but we'll see how things go in future events. And finally, we have Event 3, the 5-meter hurdles, which ended with Ruzzy from the Raspberry Racers in first, Rapidly from the Savage Speeders in second, and Clementon from the O-Rangers in third. The Marble League is off to a bit of a rocky start, but hopefully things will be better from here. Next up, we have the return of MSPN's NASMARB. Season 2 came back in full force, and we finally have our champion. After plenty of intense races, Steve came out in first, followed by Jack Tato in second, and Bloodstorm in third. For the MSW teams, Quill managed to finish in 10th, which is not too bad. Spitzer, on the other hand, just barely didn't make it to the playoffs, finishing in 13th. Overall, it was a great season, and we look forward to more NASMARB in the future. Then we have the Valvik Marble League Season 3, Event 1 Water Slide Sprint, where the marbles would sprint down a water-filled track. By the end, the Disco Neons came in first, followed by the Peculiar Peaks in second, and the Carbons in third. Next, there's the Stream Out Marble League Event 4 Infinity Tower, which ended with Exosphere from Team Atmosphere in first, Patagonia from the Grand Deserters in second, and Zucchini from Veggie Vengeance in third. Then we have the finale of the JBL Constellation Cup Season 3 Event 8 Elimination Race. The event itself ended with Beam from the Laser Beams in first, Nova from the Gamma Rays in second, and T from the Spices in third. And for the overall victory, the Gamma Rays came in a very dominant first place, followed far behind by the Laser Beams in second, and the Banana Blasters in third. Congratulations to all these teams for their hard efforts. And finally, the Team Quadrilla Marble League Season 4 qualifiers have come to an end, and all the teams have now been decided. Best of luck to all of them for the events to come. Well, that's all for the news. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Commander Wolf. You are the best fans in the world. Let's kick it on back with the podcast.
Thank you, Waf, for getting the news done. Whatever you said, I'm sure it was very informative as the point of the news. So I hope that went well for you. But we're back here from the news.
I recorded it already, technically. I just got to edit it together, so.
There you go. We're back here from the news where Waf has not yet put the news in, but it's played. I don't understand. It's kind of a weird timeline that we have here with the stream now. But we're back. And we're going to introduce our guest. We have a guest. He's been in the server for a while. He's a big fan of Marble Sports, so we're going to learn about him right now. Welcome Ghazi to the stage. Ghazi, welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Great introduction. So, we ask the same question to all of our guests who are first-time guests. Yeah. For whatever reason, we still do this. So, Waf, at the same time, ready? Go.
How did you get into Marble Sports? I thought we were going to do the sync snap thing, because that actually worked last time,
Yeah, we had to play a whole damn song just to sync up one question.
3, 2, it was like the 3, 2, 1, how you get, it worked?
I don't know. We figured it out. Ghazi gets the idea, and everybody just cringes at that anyway. So go ahead, Ghazi. Tell us about it.
Well, I got into Marble Sports in 2017. I believe, which is quite early, which is the only second year of the Marble League. Then after that, that's when I was a fan of the Rojo Rollers back then.
Wow, wild.
Yeah, and then in 2018, I stopped watching it. I completely forgot about it from, I don't know what happened in 2018. But then in 2019 Showdown, I got back in it because that's when I saw the Rojo Rollers and the Minty Maniacs for the second time, but first time I actually really cared about those teams as a whole. And then, I just continued watching it from there. I've been, sorry, I have a sore throat.
That's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah. I figured something was going on because it was like your voice was doing high octave and then into like this beautiful low octave, and I was like, dang. But, my voice does the same thing when it goes.
Mm. Yeah, and then I've been doing lots of marble comp servers. Like, if you don't know, like, they're different marble competitions, like smaller ones apart from JMR. And then that's how I rolled. Funny.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So Rojo Rollers start, and I think that's very interesting. Now, the Rojo Rollers will always have the title for the first gold medal, right? Ever given out in marble sports.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they got the
So there is something about them. Yeah, which is balancing is always such an interesting event, but that's a cool team. I'm fine with that. That's great. I'm glad that you stuck around this long, and Rojo Rollers are in there this year.
Yeah. I now support them.
Yeah, that's true. It's crazy that they're actually back. Yeah.
I now support the Minty Maniacs alongside them as my number one. If I did mention that, I don't think I did actually.
Oh, interesting. Mini Maniacs. Well, good luck. They had their moment. They had a moment in which you were like, okay, this is a team that could, against my desire, actually exist as a team that's going to be a problem. But they kind of slipped. They're out now. And I now somebody predicted that. I don't know. Somebody on some podcast predicted that the Mini Maniacs were not going to last in the glory spotlight. Don't remember his name, but looks like that man was right.
My word.
Just saying. But yeah, thank you, Ghazi. Thanks for sharing that. And we're going to continually listen to you today as you cast your opinions on all the topics we're covering. So let's get into our first topic. We got a lot of time here. So there has been we're basically going to follow the timeline today. We're going to follow the timeline of before Marble League, then into the qualifiers, then into the actual events, and follow all the things that have been happening. Before that, there also was that Freak Marbles tournament and that...
I forgot.
The Gravity
cool.
singular one-off event that the Limers won, I think, and then the Limers, of course, didn't qualify! Why? Why? I was screaming at my phone during the qualifier. Dude, I mean, the team just get in! Just get in! Please! I do love the team, but they're not making me want to vote for them. I would never fantasy that team, okay? I would never put them on a fantasy. They don't deserve that. But one day that team is going to make it, and I'm going to get out my Limers shirt, my old wrinkled Limers shirt, and be rooting for it. But
we have
yes, those events. Sorry.
No, I was just surprised you do have a Limers shirt after all.
Listen, I loved the team from year one. It's just I've matured in my Marvel Sports fanaticism and accepted that team is a little bit... I love the team still, but they're not going to make it for a while.
I mean, you said episode I don't even remember what it was, episode 6 or 7. Yeah, I said it. The Limers suck. You've been admitting it for a while.
Yeah, they're going to win 2025 though. I believe it. I mean, if the Glaciers win this year, Limers will win next year. That's true. But anyway, to follow that timeline, there was that event with the G-Force funnel, whatever, and I actually thought it was a decent event. Again, Collision is a nice event too. Maybe that should be in our Marble League events instead of the new stuff, or maybe again, I've given good ideas on the funnel battle from Marble Maniacs. That's also a great event, but that
was
fun.
Great.
But I'm not against the G-Force. Then we had Freak Marbles. I didn't watch Freak Marbles. I probably will at some point, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know. So we're gonna skip those in the timeline for now.
I guess I can give my really brief thoughts
you know
on it. I watched it.
Give us a 2 minute on the G-Force thing and the Freak Marbles. Same with Ghazi,
I watched
and then
it.
We'll move on.
Yeah, I watched it. It was okay. The scoring system was not well thought out because, literally Minos just copied Formula 1, which is meant for, multiple, 13 races or plus per year instead of 2. So, very few people could actually, or marbles could actually win if they didn't get first place, basically, at all. So, it was not well thought out. But it was a neat little advertisement, I guess.
Sponsorship, yeah.
That's it, really. There's not much to say about it.
Okay, well, we'll see what Ghazi has to say.
Well, I watched a bit of the Freak Marbles tournament, like occasionally, like 2 days after it came out, I'll just pop in, like if I have nothing to do. But, the Freak Marbles, I think JMR only did it because they want some money. That's literally probably the only reason they did it in the first place. But it wasn't that good. As Wolf said, the scoring system 10, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, I believe it was.
Just something like that.
Interesting. Wow.
And it was basically like a knockoff Sad Rally tournament.
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and the Sand Rally is already on the downhill.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Literally, right?
Oh my. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts on that. So that brings us in the timeline to this drama that happened right in between those two things. This JMR China drama. Okay. I kind of listened to a video about it today to understand it. So I understand basically what's going on, but I know WAF was more actively with it, and maybe even Ghazi was as well while it was happening. So we're going to turn it over to WAF. He's going to describe to you what's going on with this JMart China event, and then we're going to react to it and describe again. Listen, there's an episode called Dion. It's about 94. And I gave you guys very laid out and simple reasoning why the choices that he makes aren't wise choices. Why they're business-wise bad, why they are interpersonally bad, and we've already looked at that. So it's just more of that, but we're just going to kind of unpack that momentarily before we get into Marble League 2023. So, Waf, go.
All right, so here's kind of the broad overview. So in China, they don't have YouTube because of like their government. So they have something called Bilibili, which is essentially Chinese
name.
YouTube,
Bilibili.
but it also has like forum stuff. Like it's like actual kind of like community site. So there were these Chinese fans of JMR, and they wanted to bring JMR to China. So they were basically like they were kind of like an official group that worked with JMR to create subtitles for all their videos and upload them onto Bilibili. And I think they could get them up within like 1.5 to 3 days after it was uploaded like on YouTube, which is really fast work. I've done subtitles work like one time for a video. It took me forever to get the timing right. It's a lot of hard work. And then on top of that, they also did like fun community posts and like kind of like lore, like I think lore stuff and whatnot. And they had like translations for that too. Like they put a lot of work into like actually kind of creating a community over there. But then suddenly, right here, I believe it was for the last event or one of the second to last events for the Freak Marbles, they just lost access to the channel. And like what happened here? Well, it turns out Dion had basically revoked their status for it and said, like, we're going to have a professional company who actually does this now, which that's kind of crazy because these people did it for free. And, like, they actually, like, Dion only contacted them, like, 3 times, which is basically just to get money. All of which, to be fair, it is JMR's content first. So they were like, naturally they should get the majority of the profits. But, like, the fact that they come in is like, hey, here's my money, and he gave it to him, and it's like, you're a hero. And then the next, like, 2 weeks later, he then revokes his ability to upload to the channel. Like, just a two-faced man right there. But after that, like, this company came in, they just kicked them all out, they couldn't do anything, and then they also started, like, deleting some of their community posts and things that they had done translation work for, which was just really sad. And, like, it's just, like, this corporate entity, essentially, which makes no sense, because, like, this group did it for free. And now they're losing money paying someone to do the same work, but without any actual passion. And like it's so sad. These people came together for the passion of marble sports itself, loving the community. They kept like about 10% just so they could actually pay people like for like the funding of projects and stuff. But like basically 90% of all revenue they didn't keep. It was not really a profitable thing for them. It was just for the love of marble sports. And they were completely kicked to the curb by Dion. And then he denies it, saying like, oh, like this is all false information. And like, this is also kind of on his side. But then they're like, no, here's the DMs. Like, it's just so sad that like I keep trying to think that Dion will improve and grow as a person. Like maybe, just maybe, but no, he doesn't. He is constantly just proving that he is not going to grow. He is just making the same mistakes of kicking and pushing the community away. And it causes a lot of problems, both in time inside the community, and I feel like it's impacted the videos more and more.
Well, thank you, Off, for that. There you go, guys. That's basically the story, I'd say. And there was a lot of what Thesaurus Dinosaurus said.
Yes.
Because he did a video on it, and he's a good channel. He's a good channel.
And also, there's a video by the head of that project, the original project, who Tobias, I believe is his name. So I'll try and find those links and put them in the description of the YouTube upload to make sure that you can go find them. But because they go more in depth about it, obviously.
Yes, for sure. So, kind of a sad situation. Ghazi, what are your thoughts and perspectives?
Well, it's very sad that what Dion did. It's very rude, obviously. I didn't know about this until like this week. This week, I mean this weekend. So on Saturday, I watched, I believe Thesaurus Dinosaurus did a video about this situation, but yeah, what Moff said is literally all I know. So I don't really have a perspective on things about this topic.
Yeah, it's... I've said it so many times, but really, at this point, the only thing that can save it is just to kick that man out of the team. He's just making it worse.
Yeah, but like he's Jenny's brother, like Yenne's brother.
I know, and that's probably why it's gonna be so hard for him. But like, it's gotta be done. He's not healthy for this community. He just isn't.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. So let's do let's just increase understanding. So we understand it is a more laid out site. So 2 reasons. I'm going to give it like 2 reasons that this is a bad idea. What he did was a bad idea. 2 big reasons, and maybe it'll become 3 if I think of a third one. But there's 2 that stand out here, and number 1 is stupid as a business decision.
Oh, I want to clarify. It was Sarutobi, not Tobias. Sarutobi, that's his name.
Thank you for that, Waf. 3 reasons why Waf should never interrupt me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm messing. Thank you. That's actually important. But the first reason it's not smart. I mean, the last time we talked about Dion, I've made a similar point that it's a lack of thinking. When you're building a community, right? When you're building a community, unless you have a specific and obvious reason to disconnect from somebody in the community who's having a positive effect on your community, then you don't do that. Because you're building a YouTube community. You want people to feel involved. The more involved that you feel in relation to Gel's Marble Runs, and the people who want to be involved, the more involved they feel, the more that the channel is going to sustain itself. And, I mean, self-sustainment, it's like the magic of self-sustainment, which is basically that something floats and continues to grow without you even putting any work in, comes when there's so many other people who, for them, this is a part of their lifestyle to be involved with this channel and consume its content, not just something they do. Right? So you're going to kill that when you remove that. Okay? And so you have these people who, I mean, this is for free. It's not just about the fact that it's free work for Dion. These are people who are clearly passionate about doing this. Anyone who does anything for free is doing it because they have some sort of passion in them that says, you know what? This action, this work, this this idea is something that's worth my time, even if I'm not getting anything from it. I want to put in. I don't even care if I get out. I just want to put in, and the result of it is simply enough for me. That is a huge deal. That is one of the definitions of building community. People desiring to put in and get nothing out. That's community. Okay, that's different than job, right? So there's the sense where it was not wise for Dion to kill that, because now you have a group of people who are sour, now a group of people that even if they still watch the content, and like Thesaurus Dinosaurus said, I liked it, like, we should not abandon the great content and yell at over this guy. It's not a community for them anymore like it was before. It's not a pouring out of passion. It's simply like, okay, I like the video, I'm going to watch it. And that's different. The site changed, but it's a big change. And so that's one of the reasons it's bad. People obviously going to look at that and disconnect themselves from JMR more, and then people who are actually involved in it are really going to feel more disconnected because now those people aren't doing this anymore. Now these people have no way to pour time into this. In fact, they feel like that them pouring their free time into this was actually undervalued. It was disvalued. So that's unwise. But the idea of the channel is that they want to be a bigger channel that has more and more people, following it. I mean, that's counterintuitive. I mean, sometimes that works in the very, very large sense when you already have a corporate entity who's already huge and already has had millions and millions and millions of people bought in, that like even if they dissociate from their people somewhat, people are still going to watch, like sports, like football. I mean, football, even though the corporate entities might do shitty things, I mean, they're at like billions of people watching. So and the players, and all that stuff and all the leagues, I mean, they're not going anywhere, right? But this is not something if that's the case. This is something where you're trying to make that community. Won't step on the people that are involved in it. The other reason this is bad is because this is interpersonally very immature, right? So you talk about growth, people grow over time, right? I mean, I've grown over time. I'm not a perfect person, I'll never be, but there's decisions now I will make interpersonally that I wouldn't have made back then that I should have made, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? So there's growth in that. You grow as a person. You understand how to maintain relationships with people. You understand how to, even if you don't necessarily love everybody around you and what they're doing, you understand how to be cordial with them and be like, okay, because like you can say this is completely okay. Hey, I don't really care about, like, I don't like it's not a big deal to me what you're doing, but I have the perspective to understand that for you it's a big deal, and I care about you as a person, and therefore I'm going to validate what you're doing even if it's not my favorite thing because I care about you as a person. That is an expression of two sides, like an honesty about how you feel about something, but also like a clear expression of care for people. There's none of that with Dion. And like Waf said, there might have been a situation where maybe he thought it was a good idea to transfer that job, or maybe he didn't think it was important or whatever. And there's a certain sense where expressing that might be okay, but there needs to be validation of people because those people think it's a big deal. And those people think that a lot of people are benefiting from it. And in this case, they certainly were. I mean, if you don't validate that at all, well, then intrapersonally, that's very immature, right? So I don't know. I feel like he locks himself into his perspective, only surrounds himself with people who have that perspective, and then wants everything JMR-wise done by the people who are locked around him and his perspective, because that makes it like then he can just do whatever he wants with it. If he gives all that to JMA, he can make it exactly what he wants it to be. He can get rid of it when he feels like it. There's no like, hey, other people are actually involved. The JMA is just his mind. I don't know if they're getting paid. I don't know if they just they don't care, but they're clearly just doing what he says to do. But again, that distances community. It's dishonest, and now you look at him and you're like, hey, not a big fan of that guy. But it's a business decision that's really stupid too, because now your channel's not growing. So, all that out there.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's never.
Oh, you go ahead.
No,
You go ahead.
I was just saying, like, growing, as in, like, they've not gained that many. I know this is kind of very off topic, but they haven't grown, at least themselves, subscribers at least. They haven't grown at all since. Well, they have grown like 0.02 mil, but that's it. They've been stuck on 1.4 for a long time now. It's like doing this is just hurting your franchise, then helping it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and like the story is kind of made like a lot of people keep making the point like do not like boycott JMR for Dion's decisions and like continue to love and support his creations. And I try to do that, but like Dion making the community this negative all the time and and causing this drama makes it less fun to be here. And like I feel like you can really see it bleeding into the videos. Like but back when Piney joined and she made the thumbnails for M1, they looked phenomenal, the best thumbnails they've ever had. But once he pushed away the JMRC and pushed away her, they just didn't end up actually, like the quality of thumbnails started going downhill. And then the JMRC's dedication and its efforts were no longer really being a part of the community, the production quality started dipping. I feel like we've seen way more graphical errors.
Yeah.
Camera quality has not been as high, it seems. And then like you have But with them like rushing the production, it feels like you have like these massive scoring issues, which we're gonna get into in a bit. But like it's clear that like they have like Dion's actions have affected things by like pushing away competent and passionate people, but also then souring the environment and like probably the emotional drive that everyone on the team itself has. It might even be affecting Yella on at least on a subconscious level, like hearing all these complaints. Assuming that he's been tapped into this and seeing it, which I don't know if he has. I feel like he probably has though, and like I'm sure it's affected his creative passion to some degree.
Yeah. Listen, here's the deal. This is true. And this is like true about anything. When you have limited supply, then even when people don't like all the things, people still come back, right? That's true. Because people are like, well, I still want the marble sports, and this is what we got, okay? And there's still a lot of great things about JMR. I mean, obviously, I love watching it. I mean, I scream at my TV when the Savage Speeders lose to the Raspberry Racers in the hurdles. I'm still screaming, right? So I mean, like there's a situation in which they're still making pretty good content, and it's not like it's not worthy of our watch. It's just the quality is not as good as it was before, and the community is being alienated. But the reason we all still come back, and there's still the marble articles and the retrospectives and the whole thing and the whole deal, is because it's all we got. I mean, where else do people who are really into the marble thing, into the story, into devoting their passion time to this? Why? Because it's like something they get to enjoy in their unique experience. I mean, where are they going to go? They can't go to Quebec. That guy didn't even speak English. Okay, there's no one else doing this. I mean, there's smaller channels, but the problem, of course, with a smaller channel is that their quality isn't tight. So the experience is not good enough there for a whole group of people to be like, yeah, I'm going to go fantasize about marbles in those areas, because it's just not good enough. It's not produced good enough. And not to knock those channels. It's just simply true. It's just logic. It's just true because they don't have the camera work or the time or the money, right? It's not because those people can't produce good things. It's just, a lot of great creative people are stunted by lack of funds, right? So, and time. And time is basically a different way to say funds, because time is money. So here's the deal. I'm telling you, this is true. As soon as someone figures out how to match the quality of JMR, and is not stupid enough where they don't push the people away who are trying to indulge in their community, then JMR's done. I mean, they're on the way out, because that's what people want. People like JMR because the quality was so good, and they could experience it, right? They could experience it, but now that's starting to dissipate. And so as soon as a JMR type thing sprouts up again, different idea maybe, but like similar quality, like, whoa, this is great, this is awesome to watch. And then they're like, yeah, come in, anything you write, that's lore for our channel. Or you know what, if you want to do subtitles, man, I don't care. I'll even give you 20% of the profits, even though you want to do it for free. Someone who is smart and is about community and not just about whatever it is Dion's about. It seems like he loses money with his strategy. Then that's it. People are going there. It's just that hasn't occurred yet. Now, that was why I liked RML, because RML was on the way to being able to do that. That channel went up 7,000 subscribers just by not posting. They literally did, because clearly people saw that and was like, okay, if this channel continued to post, I'd want to watch it, right? But they, of course, too much work. And other channels have fallen a similar thing. There is one starting, like I said, a gig that's starting for me at the turn of the year, where the pictures they've sent me, they look like they're really going that Marbula 1 style. So maybe there'll see something interesting there, but it all depends on sustaining the quality. So one day, someone else is going to hop on this, have a better community design, and it's going to be over. But for now, this is all we got. And, in the sake of Yella, whom I love, and his content and his creativity, it's still worth it, and I'll still be watching. Anybody else? Ghazi, thoughts?
Yeah. I don't really have anything actually to say. Well, if I do, I'll say it. But for the community for JMR, JMR's decreased not only in graphics, but in actual production value over the past couple of years. So I don't know what's going to happen to them as a whole. But I hope they start rising again, but I don't know if they will.
Yeah. I think we've said everything we need to say, and we have quite a bit to go over, so we'll move on from this more depressing topic and go to something that's a bit more positive.
Yeah, now it's time to talk about what we do enjoy and what we still want to think about, and that is Marble League 2023, which I still love enough that I will continue the show in those times of years. So let's start with qualifiers. I have to do one thing for Akanon, and that is make a defense for the Gliding Glaciers as my ×3. Doesn't mean they will win ×3. It means making a defense for why it was a good pick. And then we'll talk about the speeders and cat size and all that. But let's start with you guys. Qualifiers, let's hear thought. We'll do the usual rating of the events for each event for the main tournament. But let's do a general.
Oh.
We'll do a general just on the qualifiers. We won't do a whole rating and everything. So give thoughts on the qualifiers, thoughts on the teams that made it and different, didn't make it, disappointments, excitements, the whole deal. And then we'll go from there. Start with WAF.
Okay. Qualifiers, I thought it was good. I liked the Gravitrax slalom thing. That was kind of neat, and like it actually got way more interesting in the event itself. Like Team Pursuit, Swing Wave. Swing Wave is still not my favorite. Then there was the 5-meter sprint, which that's a classic. And then what was the last one? Oh man, I got something stuck in my throat.
It was.
I can't remember what they.
It was funnels. It was funnels.
Funnels. Oh yeah, this version of funnels is not as fun because it's just
terrible.
the same size funnel every time.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know how they managed to mess up funnels, especially since if they keep funnels the same, they can actually have records to break. It was disappointing to see the Indigo Stars not make it because I know Pippin really loves them, and I want them to do well for Pippin, and the Wolfpack I'm kind of disappointed technically in the sense the Wolfpack but if they're not gonna do good, I'm not gonna cheer for them. I feel bad for S-Man that the Jungle Jumpers didn't make it again. But the teams that made it. The whole thing, if the qualifiers were combined again, the Wolfpack and the Purple Rockets would have made it. So
I don't agree with the combining, but that's a good point.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was good, but is what it is. Oh yeah, the thumbnail for it was they changed it multiple times. One time it was this head front view of the marbles ring down the relay or not the relay, the 5-meter track. And it's okay, that's a cool shot. And then it switched to this side profile of a swing wave and it had less detail. I'm like, what is this? This is
stars and arranges were in the thumbnail. I actually remember that.
But yeah, that's kind of my main thoughts on it. I guess, Ghazi, what are your thoughts on the qualifiers?
Well, as Gravitrax Team Pursuit, basically a better version of the slalom from 2019, if you remember that. It was a good event. They should just get Gravitrax to sponsor them, though. Actually, just do it. What was the next event again? Hurdle or sprint? Sprint, just the classic. Quite short, but still fun, nevertheless. Legion March Wave. Oh boy, it was not good. It's looking like this swing wave sort of style is going to become a staple for the Marble League because it's been 3 years in a row. I think it's going to stay, but I really don't want it to stay. Adding a 5th marble was a bad idea as well, so yeah. Funnels was I like this better. This is an uncommon opinion, but I like this version better than any other funnel track than we've seen. Personally, one reason is because they still have to use Hubolino to get the funnels to connect to each other, but the chute to go into the next funnel last year in 2022, it was quite a chaotic come down into the funnel. This year was a lot smoother. And it's still chaotic as usual, as funnels should be. But yeah. Also, they combined the qualifiers with the friendly round this time around, which I don't know, but they're still cramming everything together this year as well. So yeah, that's my opinion.
That's a good point. It's good. I think clearly the funnels is bad this year. It's clear. That's obvious. I think that.
Well,
I don't
to say bad, like the battles for like at the ending were actually really tense. Like it's like the racers, the wisps, and whoever was like slowly circling around, like seeing who hesitates. That was fun. I like that. Like, but like
I don't.
The overall thing was dull because there was no like shake up, to like change the rate of the pace of going through.
I mean, I just think that relative to the last year's funnels, which was definitely the best funnels we've ever seen, this was definitely bad. I didn't say it wasn't exciting in a certain degree, but I mean, like, you know, it's still bad. So we're going to cover that more in detail when funnels comes through in Marble League. But the basic idea would be how the perceived skill-based aspect of the event was heavily impeded by the choice of funnels. And we'll discuss that more when we get there. I thought it was very bad, even though it still had an exciting element, because just in general, marble sports is exciting. Not a good funnels. I really hope someone says something. The problem is, because this is not a community in the sense that it should be, like, what do our words mean? If Dion wants it just to be green funnels because it's easier or whatever, I don't know what his ideas are, and that's what it's going to be. So, Swing Wave, obviously, I'm not a huge fan. I don't think it's a bad event. I think it's planned well in that sense. Like, I think it's fine. Like, an event works. The event makes sense. I just don't necessarily love it. Like, when you're picking events and you're like, oh, let's choose Swing Wave, but we don't need to do Collision this year. I mean, of course, I'm going to be at odds with that. Sprint is one of the best events in Marble League, so that was awesome. And I believe it ended with what? Team Pursuit. I like Team Pursuit. I think that this year's Team Pursuit was pretty good, but I want them to continue to see them kind of mix up how the Team Pursuit is operated each time. So don't always use the Gravitrax. It makes sense for the honeycomb shape this time. But, you know, when you have different, like, leading teams, you know, you just continue to do different themes with that, different track types, different track ideas. But I'm a big fan of the Team Pursuit, probably about a 7 for that. But all said, the qualifiers is pretty cool. I think the very look of the stadium is very nice, with the honeycomb seating and the big beehive and the theming and the big queen bee. I mean, I think this is really cool. I mean, it's not overly themed, like, you know, I always talk about, but it's very nice. So I think the Buzz theme is done well. Otherwise, the general outcome of the qualifiers is worth a little bit of discussion here. I'm going to pull that up here on our Chrome tab as we're in it, so we can see what's going on here. But obviously, if we look at Group B first, Speeders qualified. That's obvious. I would have been mad if they didn't. There's no one in Group B that really surprises me when it comes to unqualification. Purple Rockets are a weak new team. Turtle Sliders, even though they did get gold in Honeycomb Team Pursuit, which I think is great. Again, they're not a consistent enough team for qualification. Primary a little surprising, but Primary never sticks out. They have an ability to not stick out. Wolfpack, Mini Maniacs, Chocolatiers, nothing surprising there. I did like to see Plasma in overall first place. I think that's really nice. I don't think they're transferring it too well into the main event, though there's a lot of time left for that to unfold. A lot of the other qualifying teams in Group B, very expected. When you go to Group A, Glaciers, Cat's Eyes, Rangers, Mellow Yellow, all expected. Snowballs, they're a very up and down team, and they're up this year. Momo, you're going to expect it. The big one that's surprising is the Green Ducks, because usually they're a pretty steady performer when it comes to Marble League. So to see them, they started off with that bronze medal, and you're like, okay, this normal Green Ducks are going to get their way in there, but they weren't able to do it, which is fascinating in itself. But I think it's, again, not every team can make it. We have a lot of teams now, but they just did not perform in the other events. I would say that, considering that Final Endurance was not the same and the fair way that it should be, that affected the Green Ducks quite a bit. A better performance of Final Endurance would have qualified them, and they usually do well at that, and they probably would have had that if it was structured appropriately, but they did not. So those are my thoughts on the qualifying teams. I'm excited to see how the Gliding Glaciers do. I'm excited to see how Team Plasma does. The Snowballs, and of course the Speeders and the Cat's Eyes are going to be your top 5, 2 of your top 5 as well. So that's all I got on the qualifiers. Unless anyone has other thoughts, we can move on to the main events and dig into them a little bit. Ghazi, Waf?
I got nothing.
Yeah, not really. No. I can't think. Oh, wait, just one more thing, actually. I thought something.
Go ahead.
In Group B, normally when they do this format for qualifiers, which I think is just going to be every single year, which I'm a bit annoyed at, but doesn't matter. In Group A, every team that medaled in one event qualified, but then in Group B, 3 teams that medaled did not make it. Pub Rockets, Telsize, Team Primary. Normally in this format, it's if you medal, there's no chance you're not making it in. But in Group B, it's very different.
That's a good point, Ghazi, and I think that speaks to the fact that, and we've argued about this a lot, but that consistency holds a little bit more weight than medals in the Marble League. Now, my final conclusion has always been that you obviously need consistency to get your head in the game, to get your skin in the game for winning, but you also need to put up a few medals. You need some golds in order if you actually want to win the entire Marble League. But as far as being in the top 16, competing, existing, consistency is a little bit more important than medals overall. Okay, there's no use getting a gold if the rest of your performances are zeros. But if you're putting in the context of actually getting first place, you need consistency, number one, and then you also need to put up a few golds as well. So let's move on to our events. I think that the one other thing I'll do before we move on to the events is defend my choice for the Gliding Glaciers. Actually, let's all do that now. We'll all give our there's 2 fantasy teams this year. There's 2 fantasy competitions. Yeah. There might be a third. There's also Super Yaks, but the individual I'm not as good at making a decision on unless I sit down and research for days. So I kind of just went with gut on a lot of that. But your 2 big ones are the iStarp, Are You Smarter Than a Random Picker? Which the problem with that is that we can't really talk about the teams we pick because that changes week to week. I might be able to speak a little bit on strategy, but a lot of it is just, a more experienced marble sports person like myself or Waf or probably Ghazi, you're just going to have a better sense of who's going to do well. Like when you're talking about 5-meter sprint, you're putting the speeders on the team. You're putting the speeders on the 5-meter sprint team. You just know. You just know you're going to do it. You know what? I did great on that one when I did that. Actually, does that event come up? That event hasn't come up yet, but for hurdles, I put the speeders on. And you know what? It worked out great. So, you just know. Cat's Eyes, speed. Raspberry Racers, some sort of speed, okay? You do something weird like funnel whatever or swing wave, you know what? You might throw the bumblebees in there or something like that. You just kind of sense. You just kind of know who's going to be good at what. And usually, I think that unless you get a random pick that's a really high-level pick, you are not going to struggle too much as a more experienced picker for most of the season. Because you're always going to be like, okay, well, if I go ×2 and a couple times one of teams that are generally good at this event, you have a good chance of hitting something big enough to stick in. Problem is no consistency. So I'll focus on the other fantasy, the one that is Nordic Whalers, which I think is the biggest non-A-Star fantasy this year. And I'll since I want to defend the gliding glaciers for a second as my times 3. I'll go to Waf and Ghazi first. Why don't you guys tell what your fantasy picks were for that tournament if you're in it, and defend them a little bit, and then we'll move on.
Wait, so
Ghazi, you want to start
so
us?
the team fantasy, not the individual, right? Yeah.
No, not the individual.
Okay.
I think that's
Okay.
So like I'm assuming you're in Nordic Whalers fantasy.
Yeah, I am. So
That's the one to talk about.
okay. I don't remember why I prefer ×1, but I remember ×3 and ×2. For ×3, I put Team Momo for my fantasy. Because like it's a Momo, yeah. Like I don't know why. It just feels like Momo's gonna do something this year. It just feels right. I don't know if that's a good way to say it. Like they especially in 2021.
That's fair.
2021 they just blew it. So if they can keep up the good work this year, I think they could have a shot at the championship. And for my ×2, I picked Mellow Yellow for my ×2. Yes, it's a year for Mellow Yellow because every 2 years, I believe, they do something good. I forgot how it went, but last year they didn't do that good, so this year they must do good. And those were, oh yeah, for ×1 I put the Thunderbolts. I remembered it now. Thunderbolts was my ×1 pick. Yeah.
Okay. I need to have my individuals pulled up. I'll do my teams for now. Like maybe I'll come back after Brendan does his. For the team picks, I have Momo for ×3. Part of it is just bias, yes, but also they did do well this year, so they're showing a good positive trend. Standard pick of Savage Speeders for ×2. Safe points haul there.
Yeah, I agree.
Depends.
Raspberry Racers, Mellow Yellow, and then my dark horse, Gliding Glaciers.
Oh.
Really? That's your dark horse. Nice.
It's not really a dark horse though.
Yeah?
Because they came third in 2021 though. So like, no.
I suppose. It's still, it was not a typical pick for me, but like I saw like they may actually have some chances, so I went with them.
Fair enough.
That's fair. I think that's a pretty solid team. We'll see. Again, it's always hard to tell where it's all going to go. But I will give my picks. But first, I want to respond to Akanon. Like I don't understand this not picking the speeders for 5-meter sprint. It's just this is one of the reasons where like I get confused. Like I feel like he says it just to be different, not because it's logical, right? And so like you look at 5-meter sprint. Let's look at 2020. So I'll go back just a few years so we can see 5-meter sprint in 2022. Let's see. Oh, look, the Savage Speeders. They happen to be third. This year we haven't seen them yet, but they have a good track record. So that's 2022. Let's look at 2021. I wonder where the Savage Speeders would have performed in 5-meter sprint in 2021. I could not imagine how they would have been able to do. Let's see. So where's 5-meter sprint here? 5-meter sprint. Let's wonder about it. Let's see. Speeders did not do well this year. Oh, they put velocity in. That's bullshit. They did 11th. Okay, let's keep the trend up. If they continue to be 11th over these next few seasons, then I'll say Akanon's right here. Let's look at 2020. Let's see. I
think 2020.
This is important.
I think 2020 they also put
2020.
velocity.
Oh, look, yes, they got third. They got third right there. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good track record. I would say 2/3 is pretty good. But let's make sure. Let's see.
Wait.
2019-19.
Wait, who did it 2020 for the Savage Speeders? Which model was it?
Why is this blocked? Why is the 2018-19 page
What? Wait, are you on the
not
Phantom?
available?
I don't know.
It's so weird. I guess I have to click this one. Why would they put that in the same tab?
I don't know, man.
5-meter sprint. Oh, I didn't want to click funnel race. I'm kind of dumb.
I just look over my individual picks while you're looking for this. For individual racers, my times 3 pick is Rapidly. That's a safe pick. Doubler and Captain Doubler. I don't know. Super Yak did some very interesting stuff for the picks here. Mo and Momo, and then for Captain Regular, I have Speedy, and then for regulars, I have Frost as a random pick. Mandarin. Is that right?
Oh, wow,
yeah, Mandarin.
Okay, you know what? Fair
Starry,
enough.
Green Eye for an all-arounder, and then my reserve regular is Mimo.
Fair enough. You know what? That's 2 bad performances and 2 good ones from the speeders. You know what? I'll admit when I'm wrong. I think, you know what? I think the Cat's Eyes might be a better pick for 5-meter sprint. Did they do that? A 5-meter ice dash, I guess, is their swim. They did get 3rd there. So the track record is good. But you know what, Akanon? For the first time, I'll admit, it wasn't the perfect pick. So you know what? I think Cat's Eyes is probably a better pick for 5-meter sprint.
It is.
Because they're 3rd and then off every other time. So few times, but you know what? I'll admit. Okay, I will take that responsibility. I don't think speeders is a bad pick for 5-meter sprint, but I think it's 5-meter relay where they consistently get top marks. So you know what? Fair enough.
It's rigged.
I will offer that to you, and still say you're mostly wrong. But that one, fair enough. All right. So my picks are times 3 gliding glaciers, times 2 speeders. Obviously speeders because, well,
Speeders.
They're going to get points. They're going to get medals. I always think it's very, very important that they they're going to put some golds up. I kind of lost my brain for a second, but they're a good pick. Then you got Orangers. I put Orangers in, and I feel like it's because Orangers have been lacking lately, so I think there's some validity to them. And then there is, I believe it or not, I put the Bumblebees in my times 1. I just figured something was telling me that there's possibility there. They were relatively consistent over the last year or 2, though not the best. So I'm allowing them to come out of their shell. And then the last team I put was Team Galactic. Now I'm kicking myself here because the obvious times 1 I should have put in is Crazy Cat's Eyes. I don't know why I didn't put the Cat's Eyes on this year. I don't understand why I didn't do that, but I didn't do that. I put Team Galactic instead, which is a solid pick, but it's like I don't know why I missed the Cat's Eyes. So I don't know what I was thinking, but Team Galactic, Bumblebees, Orangers. I think I should have swapped Orangers for Cat's Eyes and left the other 2. So I don't know. That was kind of a weird choice by me. But I'm going to stop here and tell Akanon that, again, mistake, he stepped a little far. So, of course, as soon as I admitted that I might have been wrong, he then says all caps, they're historically not that good at 5-meter sprint. Like they've never won it. But, like, I don't know. See, then you overstep bounds there. Because it's one thing to say, hey, they're not as good of a pick as the Crazy Cat's Eyes and Mellow Yellow. No, I don't think they're a worse pick than Mellow Yellow, but I do agree they're not as good as Crazy Cat's Eyes as a pick. That's a fair statement. But to say they're historically not that good is very silly because if you compare them to all the teams, most teams don't get a medal most of the time in 5-meter sprint. Most teams never get a medal in 5-meter sprint. So over 5 years to have 3 medals, no matter what color they are, means that they're historically at the very least above average compared mathematically to the rest of the teams at 5-meter sprint. So you got to, again, be precise. You're saying they're historically not that good, but historically would mean relative to the other teams that are competing. I mean, because to make a broad statement like that, and I think that would be overstepping. Hazers, where are they? They're not even in, where are they? They're in the showdown. I don't want to hear about the hazers. Enough. Okay, I can come back to regularly scheduled insults. Hey, I don't want to hear about the hazers. Great. No, great. Okay. When the hazers get back to even qualifiers, then he can speak to me. Let me defend the glaciers real quick, and then we'll move on. Hazers, waff. What ridiculousness. Marble League 2022. Pretty good for the glaciers. And that's where that's where I'm looking here as far as like a beginning defense for that pick. Okay, you have the glaciers here. They're about mid-pack, but what I like to see, and this is what I was looking at, the events that are appearing in this year's Marble League. Right? In this year's Marble League, how are they at those? Balancing 12 points, 5-meter hurdles 15. There's no water race. 5-meter relay is going to be in there, and that's 6. But then again, look, triathlon 20, swing wave 11, that was in there. And they so like there are a lot of events that are appearing in this year's that they did well on. Look at this. Sand Rally is going to be in there 12, elimination is going to be in there 10. So you got over half of the events that are appearing in this year's Marble League that warranted them very good numbers last year. I'd say anything 10 or above is pretty good in the Marble League, right? So I think there's a consistency to that. A lot of the events that they did bad on, a lot of them aren't appearing in this year's Marble League. And that would be events like Collision, not appearing in this year. Domino Bowling, not appearing in this year, right? These 2 5s, okay, you're going to have those. But Final Endurance, we can't even use this as a data point because they just changed the entire event to be really silly. So I was saying based off that information, I'm having numbers that point to the Glaciers actually being able to do good this year. Now, what I like is that in general, they're a team with not a lot of zeros and ones. While they might not have the most medals, they're not a team with a lot of zeros and ones. So I think that gives them possibility to be consistent. Okay, so it's kind of an out there pick, and I might have picked that because there's no real Marble League fantasy this year, like the official one. Nordic Whaler's kind of doing his own one, so I was like, okay, it's not like that big website, so maybe I don't need to be as crazy about it. But I think this team has the consistency with the event list for this year to win the whole thing, and we've seen so far not that bad performance from them. All right, but here's the other thing. Because the best way to choose a team is to look at the numbers of their qualifying performance, because that's the most recent performance. Because you're like, okay, if they hold up in the qualifiers, then there's some ability. Final Endurance completely changed. They went from 0 points to first place. Now that's a pretty good defense. Okay, Legion March Wave, they got first place here in the qualifiers, and they did well in it last time, so that's pretty good, right? They didn't do well in the sprint again, okay, and they didn't do well in the pursuit, which is fine, but I like these 2 gold medals. These 2 gold medals plus the consistency they had last year and the current event roster, I think makes a good case for them that if they increase in that they keep that same consistency, they could have at least 8 of these 16 events, if not 10, that are going to be 10 points or higher. Now, that's a pretty good case for a team in the top 5. So that's my case for them. I don't think it's the strongest one, but considering that the Pinkies won last year, I don't think just jumping on the Crazy Cat's Eyes bandwagon is necessarily the best way to go about picking in this current season of Marble League. So that is my defense. I think they're going to do pretty well. I'll lastly take a quick look at 2021 and how that team did. I don't actually remember. Oh, they got 3rd place overall. And again, there's some consistency here. Swing Wave, they've always been consistent with that. Balancing, that's coming along. They did well in the sprint, but I'll ignore that due to recent data. And overall, pretty solid. Block pushing 15, which they didn't do well the following year, but they showed they can here. So that's good news. Sand Rally, again, a very good performance of 20. Marble Cross 10, so that's going to be here too. So there, honestly, a lot of events that are appearing in this year are all coming together as a good roster for the Glaciers. That's my defense. I don't think it's the best. And there we go.
I had to go to the bathroom, so I'll just give a bunch of generic responses, and you'll determine which one's the most accurate. I disagree heavily, Brendan. That's a good point, Brendan. Man, that was really bad. Oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Whichever one of those apply here, go ahead and put it there, I guess.
Let's see. Akanon says, bro, what are you saying? If we were basing teams off qualifiers, or Rangers would be on nobody's list. Well, I didn't really love my Rangers pick, to be honest. I'm not basing it only off qualifiers. I literally described how I'm basing it. I'm saying I'm looking at the events the Glaciers were good at in 2022. That's what I'm looking at. They were good at half the events in 2022. They did badly in the other half. Okay, that's basically where we're at. Okay, then I looked at their performance in the qualifiers to see what kind of consistency maintained. Okay, and if they showed a recent ability to perform. Okay, they did pretty well. 2 golds is pretty good. So we have the ability to get golds and a good amount of events that they were good at in the previous year. Okay, they kind of tanked in the events they weren't good at, but they had ones where they were all like 10 points or up, right? So that's solid performance. Then I was like, okay, that could mean a lot. Let me look at the current roster for this year's events, which this roster this year is very different than your average Marble League roster. There's a lot more speed-based events, a lot more racing-based events, and some changes. And I was like, okay, based on this roster and what the Gliding Glaciers have shown they're good at, there's a good case for them doing well this year, okay? Then there's a small jump to say, hey, you know what, they're actually going to win this year. But again, considering the Pinkies won before, all right, when nobody expected that. I don't think it's the worst ×3 ever. I don't think it's going to be the Cat's Eyes or the Speeders this year. I think they're going to sit in their usual top 5 positions. Ghazi.
I disagree and agree. Gliding Glaciers are just like all over the place. That's literally what they are.
Yeah.
You can't like for any marble team. Well, they're marbles after all. You can't. They're marbles. They probably change the marbles anyway every year for some new ones because they probably get chipped.
No, that's one thing that I think we can be guaranteed. Like, he just store them separately, so at the very least, the teams are the same marbles. The Gliding Glaciers, though, this is they did as a new team members when they brought them back, so those probably are new marbles for them. Compared to whatever they were back in 2016. Like, I think they were introduced in 2017, I think. So they're not the same marbles from then, but at least the other teams, they are the same marble.
Yes.
Yeah.
2018 qualities. Thank you, Akanon.
Ghazi, continue.
I actually don't know what to say. I'm still a bit puzzled why you would choose them over a team. Let's say the Raspberry Racers or Thunderbolts. Wait, while I say Thunderbolts.
Not Thunderbolts. No, please don't defend that with that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a bad pick. Don't pick the Thunderbolts.
I already did.
Okay? Don't do that.
Them
for a ×3?
I'm gonna for ×1 Thunderbolts.
Okay, that's fair.
And then Bumblebees for my other ×1, I believe.
Now here's the deal. The other thing I'm looking at, so let's see maybe how they're doing this year. Now, they didn't do well at Team Pursuit, unfortunately, but that's kind of been consistent for them. They did well in hurdles and did well in steeplechase. By the way, do we know if they're still bouncing around that possibility if the Glaciers actually got third in steeplechase, or did they resolve that finally?
No, it's. I mean, they definitely got it based on how the points should be. They haven't implemented it yet, though.
So,
although they're delaying funnels in like 2 weeks, so they're probably going to like insert it there somewhere.
So here's the deal: you're looking at a team that, by correct assessment of data, has a bronze medal already. In hurdles, performed pretty well with 9 points. Again, I think that's fair. It's just consistency. So starting pretty strong. Not starting really strong, but starting in a way where they're allowing themselves the openness to if they put up the medals that we talk about are important, the couple of golds, 3 golds, they actually do have a chance to stay strong in the season. I think there's a lot of events coming up that the Glaciers have shown that they can do well at, and so just I think it's possible. The Cat's Eyes, of course, you think, why not pick Cat's Eyes Speeders? I just don't think those two teams are going to win. I don't think we're getting that repeat win this year. I don't see the Cat's Eyes doing that. I don't know, but I think that I just don't see it. I think what's going to happen is they're going to slip about halfway. Once we hit some of these weirder events like block pushing, tug of war, funnel endurance. And by the way, these two teams at the top, not necessarily always consistently good at balancing. Not good at balancing. Cat's Eyes are not great at balancing always. It's definitely not the Speeders. We're going to get Maze Run in there. We're going to have Swing Wave. And then G-Force Endurance. There's a lot of events in there that are going to kind of blindside these teams, and I don't think they're going to hold on. So that's my defense.
Okay. I don't know how. I think we've been on Fantasy long enough. We're already an hour 12. Let's get to the events, shall we?
All right, Ghazi, start us off. Opening ceremony and Team Pursuit. Give us thoughts.
Opening ceremony was fun. I don't think it was the best opening ceremony that they've done. Especially, they changed how the marbles dance into the opening ceremony. Like, they've changed it slightly as they all come in, not at the same time, but they all appear in the same frame. We also get to see the managers for the first time. I don't know if you noticed that, but the managers like appear in their opening ceremony for each of the teams.
I do see that. It's cool.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say for the opening ceremony. Just that it was a decent opening ceremony. 2021 was the best opening ceremony, but yeah, that's it. For the event itself, a lot of changes. I think this is a different track than the qualifiers, I believe. I don't think this was the same track that they ran in the qualifiers. I think there are a couple of changes, which is probably why there are more DNFs this time around. Like in the qualifiers, there was 0 DNFs. In this one, I believe there were like 4 or 5. Especially with the Crazy Cat's Eyes, they got one penalty, and then they just win overall. It's strange, but yeah, that's my take on it.
Pretty cool. So what would you give that event out of 10?
Out of 10, I think around a 7. I think it was a fun event, but I do think it should come back next year. At least not next year. I think maybe the year after, themed around whoever hosts, as Brendan I believe said. But yeah, that's all I have.
Fair enough. Okay. Waff?
For opening ceremony, well, one, I love the aesthetic of this arena. It looks really nice. But in terms like the opening ceremony, they did not think about the graphics well at all. Like there were some times where the graphics for like the name descriptors was covering the teams like opening like just a little dance, and like I can't see them. What are you doing? This is so like there was some problems there. But the actual event itself, I think it's fun, and like it was interesting seeing them like actually being able to fall out of the track. That would actually really spiced it up. I really did enjoy that. The Crazy Cat's Eyes also had a really dominant run. They were really great at Gravitrack stuff. My main complaint, though, is I have no idea where the finish line is on this thing. Where like, is it like one of those dividers on the white lines? Is it the end of the white section? Is it the end at the line at the black section there? What exactly is the finish line here? I was so confused.
Definitely
I did not know where
section.
to watch for. Like photo finishes is so confusing. So in terms of, I guess, because of that, like, and being unable to fully understand what was happening, it's maybe a 6 for me. Like, it's fun, but like, if I don't know what to look for like, I guess the final performance, it makes it hard to enjoy.
I think that's fair. For me, and the opening ceremony was nice, and I like how things look this year. By the way, someone confirm if this track is different than the qualifiers one, because I was thinking in my head, like, it would be nice if they made it a little different or a little longer. When the qualifying stuff it's fine for that to be a little different, right? So I don't know if it's different. I couldn't tell. It's not clearly different if it is. It's not noticeably different in the way it's like, okay, this is very different. But it might be. It might actually be, which is a good thing. I think the event is fun. I think my problem with Team Pursuit when you only use the Gravitracks is that it's very like you're very contained into the kind of features you can fit into a Gravitrax track, which is basically times where you move side to side on curves. And so you just have like this kind of flow of marbles, but there's a lot of speed change and stuff. When I think it's nice, it's just like I feel like this event kind of makes a lot more sense or is a lot more chaotic if there's times where the marbles all come together or if they're racing in different types of terrains, because then they have to traverse a lot more as they're threesome, right? Because then you have to see the marbles handle different formations, maybe some sand, maybe something else like that. But again, I think it was fun. The Cat's Eyes clearly are your best team here by far. They made the speeders look very slow. Like they were very, very good at this event. To a ridiculous degree, and literally, if it wasn't, even with their losing marbles the first 2 times, they just were the best. Unfortunately, we don't get to track a record here because the track kind of changes every year, but they would have had it this year for sure. With this, if you take off the second penalties that they had in their other runs, I mean, we're talking close to 16 seconds, like as their total run, under 16 seconds even. So Very
Yeah, it's
impressive.
really crazy. They got so many penalties on almost all the runs, and they still won by a wide margin.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely free for them. You look at our standings, which are going to come up just in a moment here on the screen. I mean, you have expected standings. I mean, yeah, the Wisps are nice. I don't really know what to make with the Wisps because they kind of took a weird dip away from Marble League for a while. But you have standings that make sense. The Rangers are in there. They're usually a fast team. Racers up there, Team Galactic. These are all teams that make sense where they are. It's sad to see the Glaciers so low, but they're not known for that team fastness. The Speeders and the Cat's Eyes are. They are known for all four of those marbles being very fast, and that's what they showed. It just makes so much sense. The teams at the bottom are like, yeah, they're kind of slower, and the teams that you're like, yeah, they're kind of faster at the top. Pinky's probably a little higher than you'd expect otherwise. Very logical standings. I'm going to give this event a 7 out of 10 because it's a good event, but again, it is a little bit lackluster in some ways.
Just to say something, the Crazy Cat's Eyes in 2019 did also win the Grav Track Slalom back then, so they have really good experience with Grav Tracks so far. Unfortunately, I think this is the only Grav Tracks event this season. I might be wrong, but for them, it's quite good starting.
I mean, the elimination race might be Gravitrax, but in a different way.
It's probably going to be Hubalino, though, based on Bumblebees, I think. Or maybe they'll combine it with...
I really hope not, because the Hubalino kind of sucks.
No, but like, in the Hubalino tournament, the elimination race, that sort of thing.
Maybe. Hoping not.
It was really cool that there was one heat during that had all of the former ML champions in it.
Oh, yeah, the last one.
Or as many as they could fit, obviously, in a 1v4 or 1v3. But
I think it was literally the last one, right? Was it Orange?
It was one of the semifinals, I believe.
Semifinal 2, I believe, yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I remember noticing that, but I didn't forget which heat it was. And I was like, yeah, this is classic. These are the teams that are these team. It was a reminder to me that these teams aren't going anywhere. There was a moment in which we were talking about the fact maybe there is going to be change. Maybe the Speeders and the Cat's Eyes and the Rangers are on their way out, and we're actually going to have new teams rise up here. Easy reminder that's not happening. As of now, there is some teams have gone up and down, but in the general case, the core group's up there. Crazy Cat's Eyes are unbeatable. Savage Speeders are even more unbeatable, right? Rangers are still contending. They're going through a lull, but they're going through a lull where they're still like a hard team. They're still like being there and competing and hard to beat. Okay, Raspberry Racers, gone nowhere. Still a fast team, okay? Midnight Wisps even coming back a little bit. So your teams... that you would think that maybe this year you might have like Pinkies come out and contend with the Cat's Eyes. You might have some change like that, but not necessarily quite yet. And so I think it's going to be a hard season. I feel like I wish I saw that earlier because then I would have maybe put Cat's Eyes and Speeders on my fantasy. So I did make a mistake there, but yeah, they're here to stay.
Yeah.
Ghazi, Steeplechase, rating and thoughts.
Steeplechase. This was the worst Steeplechase by far. Like, out of all of them, out of the 3 ones we've had, this is the worst one. I think they were trying to...
Why is that?
Wait, what did you say, Brendan?
I said, why is that? Describe that.
Well, 2017 was by far the best, but this one... The sand conditions were poor. The jumping, like the space they had to jump was not... They didn't have time to jump at all, and it was very confusing a lot of times. Also, they changed, instead of the top 3 marbles for a team having a score, it's the top 2 now, which changes it up a lot. But they were... 2017 was definitely by far the best. I think I already said that, but yeah, I think that's it. And the penalties for that, and the Glide Glaciers getting 13. Apparently, Savage Speeders will go down 7 spots. I think that's what Wolf said at the beginning.
Yeah, or 7 points at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with scoring. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Confusing event, hard to keep track of most of the time. I think it's 3 out of 10 First story.
Wow, 3 out of 10 is wild. That's
Man.
wild. Waff, talk about your thoughts and also discuss the 2 scoring problems and how you feel about them.
Well, so for the event itself, I 2021 Steeplechase was maybe a bit worse because it was like indoor and the jumps were very small, but but here they're like it looks like there's like parts of the after the jumps where the sand is too flat, and like also it was very mushy, so a marble could get jammed in there easily. I can't remember if there might have been like one run where a team didn't get a DNF, but like it was almost impossible to go through without losing at least one. And then like the main issue like is like the scoring. Obviously, it was like I guess judging the event itself like and how it's executed, like the conditions make it pretty poor. I think it's better than 2021 in terms of like watchability. So, but factoring in the scoring issues, like there were times where like they accidentally forgot to include, I think, one of the penalties for hitting one of the bars off the top, and then you have the issue with the timing. The timing for some of the finishes were wrong, and this was and like Nordic did the math for it. Like there are 11 different teams who had different positions, and like the Savage Speeders lose 7 points from this, and like it's massive. Like this can have a big impact on the finale. It probably will, like just because we've seen close finishes before, and that 7 points of all things, like that can mean a big difference. It was rushed. It wasn't well executed, and Yella's like it's not his favorite either. And like based on all of the backlash, apparently they said that they're not gonna do it again. So it's like, oh, okay, which is disappointing because like I think Steeplechase is a fun event, and if they just made it well and not bad, that would be fine. But it overall, let's see here, what the scoring brings it down a lot, like 5 or 4, I think score bring it 4, might be a 4 out of 10 for me because the scoring messes it up so bad. It's so bad.
Sarah, I think that your Steeplechase in 2021, against what Akanon is saying, is more watchable than this one because here's why. My biggest problem with this one is that it was hard to actually be good at the Steeplechase, to actually avoid hitting the bars because the Steeplechase was curved. You had a lot of turns in this. You had a lot of times with the group of marbles going down.
That is true.
Would all bunch up and stop because they were all making a turn or hitting the side. And so we're not going straight. So we're losing speed. The point of Steeplechase, at least the way it's done here, is that you have enough speed that you don't have to jump. There's no jumps here. If you look at the picture I have right up on screen with the YouTube, the top stick is not that much lower than the lip. You go straight off the lip and you just fall down, but if you're going fast enough, you fall down late enough that you're not hitting that bar. That's the point, which means the event needs to be built around giving the opportunity to build speed, okay? So if you put curves, they can't do that, and that's why you had all these sticks being hit and all the marbles bunching up on the sides by the post as they cross. Very silly. Obviously designed awfully in that sense. The 2021 Steeplechase was much better because it was just a straight downhill. It was made in-house, and you had the ability for marbles to build up speed. And so if the marbles were good, if they had the skill, they would not struggle. They would get over the humps, right? So you didn't have that here. Obviously, the scoring problems are bad. I could not believe if they did not update the scoring because that's going to affect the events. The Gliding Glacier's having a bronze medal right now is a lot different than them not. That changes the standings a little bit. Same with the speeders. I mean, you got to appropriately account for that. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't care if you change it down by event 8. Change it so it's right. So I that is a big problem. I do not like that. That they might just be like, oh, well, we made the mistakes, we're leaving it. Oh, so if you just in a 5-meter sprint later on say, oh, we accidentally showed that this team won instead of this one, but we already did it, so we're not going to change. I mean, that's ridiculous. So why am I watching? What am I watching then? Because the reason I watch is because I want to see a competition. I want to see teams win that win and teams lose that didn't win. And if you're just going to be like, well, the numbers don't matter, because then there's no point for me to even watch this anymore. There's a point where I draw the line. Okay, now I'll continue to watch if it's a good quality production, even if some of the people in charge aren't very nice people, even if they do not super nice things. I'll continue to at least watch, even though I'll complain about them and make episodes of the podcast about them. Right? But if you're going to make a event, if you're going to make a tournament where the point is best team wins, and then not even update the score so it accurately reflects what's going on the screen, then I don't want to watch anymore. Because then, a team like the Cat's Eyes could win this year, but did they really win? I don't know, because you don't really care about the accuracy of your scoring. So I don't necessarily like that. Overall,
Akinon's point about 2021 was also the runs were all look the same, and I kind of agree. It was too smooth and uniform that most of the runs did look kind of the same. It was hard to tell who was doing well in that one.
Average Akinon being wrong. I think that just because the runs look the same, I mean, in balancing they look the same. Greg does a little bit better at kind of making up names for formations.
Well, in balancing, there's a number that you can see them going further.
Okay. But if you're going to talk about the general repetition of it, the point is to see how the marbles. How the marbles take to the things in front of them. But Akinon also did say I was cooking. Okay, that's fair. But then Steeplechase overall is kind of an event. So that's more because of that. Not because so overall not great. Maybe. But then 2017 was the golden age. So in general, you're going to have a better marble sports then. But this one was definitely worse than the 2021 one. I would say I give this one, isolated from the scoring mistakes. Already this is a 4 out of 10 because it's very badly made. Adding the scoring mistakes, you're at a 1 out of 10. You're at a 1 out of 10. This is terrible. Terrible. You make them scoring mistakes and you don't fix them, and you put curves in a speed-based event about being fast as you fall over ledges. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Wait, can I just say something?
Please, it's a podcast. You're supposed
to. I think me and Rolf said this in the pre-show, but I think JMR's already recorded the closing ceremony, and they probably destroyed the stadium before they realized the mistakes. So I don't know if they're going to fix them, because if it changes the closing ceremony, then it will just affect everything. I don't think JMR wants to rebuild the stadium just to do the closing ceremony again if it changes any of the standings, which it probably will, to be fair. It probably will change the standings a lot. Yeah.
That's a big point to keep there. Like they rushed so much of this production. It's the one upside of actually not having everything finished while it's going, is that you can make corrections as you go a lot easier.
Yeah, well, that's why they might not see that correction introduced. I think it was alluding to that till like the middle of the season and stuff, because they will need to update the videos. Now, I will tell you, updating the videos is not that hard. You change the graphics, right? You give certain teams more numbers and certain teams less numbers. The only thing you really have to refilm would be the closing ceremony. Yeah. Now, I think
stop motion. It's just stop motion.
Okay, but do you really need to film every aspect of it? Refilm every aspect of it?
Well, they have all the teams line up in the order that they finished in.
But I would also postulate that if you take care about your channel, and if you make a mistake like this, then refilming one video, even if it takes some time, is 100% honest and worth it, because
that's right.
Of you want your, because listen, if they listen, I'm gonna tell you what, if they don't hold up and fix that, I'm gonna be upset. I mean, then what? So anytime you make a mistake and it's inconvenient for you, you're just going to be like, okay, well, you're just going to have to accept that this is the way the points are. I mean, what's the point of points if they're not accurate? Then I could just assign points anywhere. Oh, I like the Limers this year. Let's just give them 20. I mean, it's stupid. It's very stupid. I don't know. Go ahead, Ghazi.
Well, they might have, probably, they didn't do this, but they might have done it like 2017 closing ceremony, where they just have them go in and then they have them exit, but then they don't go in their positions. They just go in and then they go out. Like they stay in the center for like
That could work.
But they if they are going to do that, they probably have already done it. So I know what's happening. So,
Yeah, I don't know if we should let that one go though. That's kind of like, I mean, again, like, it just seems kind of silly to me.
Yeah. And also the thumbnail for this one, like danger or massive failure, and it was like lying too. It was the plasma run where they did well. Like, it's this clickbaity garbage. I don't like it.
I think they're a desperation thing, sort of.
They are. And we'll see that with the next video when we see the Surfshark VPN ad.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not against that necessarily.
Yeah, putting ads in is fine, but like that shows how bad things are. Like, they're taking generic advertisements now.
Yeah, Surfshark VPN. That's fine. I mean, I'm not necessarily against that because I understand. It's just that if Dion had been more open to the community, then the sponsors would be a lot more organic. Because now a community that's allowed to put their passion into something they want to put their passion in is also going to want to see it keep going and would be able to offer sponsors. But if you cut them off, you cut off those opportunities, and then you have to turn to, I don't know, HelloFresh or whatever those sites are that's trying to get more traffic to yeah, but SeatGeek kind of makes sense. I'm not against it.
And that's a way more unique one than like the generic one.
Yeah, then it's not like just the organic podcasting. I mean, I don't see an issue with it. I'm just saying the reason you don't have as much organic.
I've never heard of SeatGeek before that video, and also it fits into the video, like getting seats for the competition. Like, it fits the theme. Whereas randomly, like Surfshark.
Yeah, well, a sports YouTube channel. So this is a sports YouTube channel, in my opinion. So there you go.
Oh, I've never seen it. I don't watch sports Akanon, so I did not know that this is like a typical ad for sports stuff. This is literally the only type of sports type of YouTube content I watch.
They could have like done.
Anyways.
Like, not a sponsor, but they could have just helped a bee charity, Save the Bees charity, actually, to like help with the theme as well. Save the Bees charity would have been a bit nice as well. Like,
that would have been fun. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's cover our last event here. We're at 1 hour 35 there. We'll probably wrap up in 10 minutes. Let's do hurdles. I'll start with hurdles. Then I'll toss it over to y'all, and then final comments, and we'll get out of here. So I'll give an understanding here. So hurdles, honestly, I like hurdles. I think hurdles is fun. I think hurdles has only gotten better every year, where it used to be like just running through that like connects piece that would kind of, it would just slow you down for a second, to actually having hurdles where you go up, over. I mean, it's just kind of, this right here that we see is kind of actually how we had talked about in the past, imagining hurdles to be like, if they did this, it would be better. Like, this is how we described it way back in very earlier episodes. Some ramp up over a small little jump, where it's possible to knock the thing down, but not like super likely, whatever. So we envisioned it like that. I actually envisioned it very similar to that. You might have as well, Waff, but we did talk about this way back in the day, maybe in one of our first episodes.
I think so, yeah.
So it is like this, and so I think because the first time I saw this, I think I gave this event a 10 out of 10 because I literally asked for this. I said this would make the event out better if it looked exactly like this, and one of the few times it actually looks exactly like that. So I can't complain about that. I think that'll still stay with the event as 9 out of 10. It's good, it's clean, it's simply hurdles, and there's a lot of change in speeds that comes from hitting those hurdles. Marbles will make some crazy comebacks and some crazy losses of speed depending on how they go over the ramp into the hurdles. And honestly, it's just really cool. So it's a simple event, but it's like 5-meter sprint where it's so simple, it's amazing, and it needs to be where it needs to be. 9 out of 10 for it. Fun event overall. Obviously, the speeders did well and the whole deal, and the Raspberry Racers had that fun comeback, which was spoiled immediately for me because it was that first preview comment when I clicked on the video. Whoa, Raspberry Racers! And I was like, damn it, that means the Glaciers wouldn't win. But I don't know, pretty awesome. Still pretty awesome. Over to you guys.
I guess I'll go next. Honestly, yeah, those jumps over over the little hurdles that did change the speeds a lot, which is like very similar to how the change in speed was back with like the original hurdles. So I would say that it now has the best of both worlds. I can actually see their hurdles more clearly now than I think in the past, and I don't think anyone hit them this time around. But yeah, the way they went over that lipping over the ramp did like have a big impact on how some of them would progress, and so it enabled some really great come from behind victories. I think a 9 out of is this 10 out of 10 for me?
It's one of the two. I liked 9.
It's well executed, and it's
kind of perfect.
And it might be 10 out of 10.
Then I might have to say that. I mean, I don't have any problem with it. Why am I saying 9? I mean, 9 or 10. It's so hard. It's just a good event.
Like, it looks like they're actually jumping over like that slow down and like landing back down. It looks like they're jumping.
Then I might have to just be a 10 too. I said 10 last time. No reason to change it. It's very good.
I think this is one of the rare 10 out of 10s. I don't think have I ever said 10 out of 10?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, not really. I don't think.
At least it's rare.
There's a first time for everything.
Exactly.
Maybe the jumps should be like transparent, so it actually looks like they're like jumping instead of like they're riding a ramp over like another piece.
It looks better from like the behind
Yeah.
shots than the forward shots like this one.
Is the track
Okay, because Because transparent pieces would make this better, 9 out of 10. Because if they were transparent on the jumping, it would even look more illusionary like they're jumping. And so fine.
Yo,
I'll give it
you're
a 9.
right. Oh my word.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would be a 10 out of 10. So at this point, because we've already seen this as a 10 out of 10, and I gave it its needed 10 out of 10, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 this year and say make those pieces clear, and if you do, it will be a 10 out of 10 until I die. Go ahead, Ghazi. Continue.
just one thing?
That's a good point. That was very smart.
Just one thing. Is the track redder? Like, obviously they changed from 2021. They made it a bit more clayish, but I think this is redder than more pinkish this time around. At least what I could see. But the event itself, it's the same. It's been like this for like 3 years now. So now we have like a. Actually, yeah. 8.5 out of 10. I think I actually liked the 2016 version of the hurdles the same as this one. It's really weird, but I feel like they're both similar in a way, because you were still jumping over blocks in the Huberlino version as well.
Well, jumping over in the Huberlino? I thought. Oh, you mean like non-2016?
No, 2016, the finale. Apart from the top 4 all went to the finale.
Oh, well, in that one, like, you weren't jumping over, you were pushing
No, but like,
through,
you were like,
weren't you?
It looked like you were like jumping over, like, if you get what I mean. You're like,
it's been a while since I've seen it, but maybe? I don't know. Like, 2016 was still fun, I'll give it that.
just
I don't know. I'd have to look at it again. I don't remember.
what? I just got
2016.
I've got one other thing. This is the first time, obviously, because the stadium's not 360 degrees, it's only 180 degrees or more than that. Because, like, it's only half of what a normal stadium would be. This is the first time they've shown a shot from the stadium's point of view during the replays of the hurdles. I think it was in the finale. They showed, like, from behind the track, like from the opposite of the normal view. They showed it, like you get what I mean, from like the fans' perspective, which I think I really liked that as well.
Right.
Even though that was.
Oh, that was how hurdles looked back then.
Yeah, I don't like it as much because it's more steeplechasey. Like, they're not jumping up out of the things; they're going straight, and they just have to cross over the Lego, but they're leaving straight, and then they're dropping down. As opposed to this track, which is just a normal track, downhill enough for the marbles to roll, but they're going off a ramp that sends them up in the air, and then they have to fall down over the hurdle, which I think is a lot better. So I would give this more of like a 6 or 7 out of 10 because I still think it's fine. The hurdles after that, again, like 6, 7 out of 10, probably more of a 6. And then, of course, this one like a 9 or a 10. So that's my opinion on it.
All right. I think we covered it all, finally. Almost 2 hours. Jeez, it's been a while since we did an episode this long.
Well, last thing to understand, your standings after event 3 of 16. Okay, so we're not a 4th in yet, but we're close to a 4th in.
Yeah.
Crazy Cat's Eye Speeders, Raspberry Racers. Okay, those are your top 3 teams. I mean, that's a pretty strong start for those teams, especially 52 and 49 points are pretty hefty for Cat's Eyes and Savage Speeders. I mean, you look at a team like the Glaciers or the King Galactic right in the middle, they're well within striking distance of the Racers and Plasma and everything. Even one event could change that. But they've built quite a lead, the Cat's Eyes and the Speeders. Now, against my prediction hopes, I am 100% okay with a far and away distance battle between the Cat's Eyes and the Savage Speeders. Because we all know that they are clearly your best two teams in Marble Sports history. There's no other contention for that. The Rangers don't get that contention anymore. Their glory is kind of diminished since 2017 time. So those are clearly your best two teams, no argument, right? But
hold on, CCE as the best team in Marble League?
Oh yeah. You look. But okay. Argue for a sec. But you look at their performance in Marble 1. You look at how they're performing in that. Red Eye's performances, Yellow Eye's performances, they are stellar. You look at how they've been doing lately. They won a Marble League, okay? They've been strong since that win.
They didn't win a Marble League.
You look even how they did back in the day. I thought they did win a Marble League.
No, they haven't.
They haven't won a Marble League?
No.
What? Oh, that was Mellow Yellow who won that year. They just hosted that year. Okay, but I still think that they're contending. If they win this year, then they're that. They're contending for that right now.
Okay, I'll give you that. If they win this year, then they are in contention, sure. But they currently definitely are not.
Okay, no, but see, the Marbula 1 performance is so strong, though.
Yeah, but that's Bob.
Yeah, but we've said it multiple times. Marbula 1 performance does not necessarily correlate to Marble League. We've said that, both of us, multiple times.
That pulls for them in the sense that if you build a case for them being overall the best, yeah, I made a mistake. I thought they had won. That was kind of stupid. It was Mellow Yellow who won that year. I don't know how I kind of messed that up, but
like
I
M1
think
is relevant. Here's
what I think,
but it's not like it doesn't hold that much weight.
But considering this, so here are these actual facts. All right, I'm not going to make another mistake. Savage Speeders are the only repeat champion in Marble League. We know is true. Yeah. Okay, so Savage Speeders get their title because they've won a Marbula 1, and they're the only repeat champion in Marble League. So they're still the best team in Marble League. That's clear. Yeah. That's no argument for that. Fine. When you look at the Cat's Eyes, you have a team that's won Marbula 1, okay, and it continues to dominate heavily in Marbula 1, okay? And then you look at right now and how they're doing. If they win this year in Marble League 2023, I believe that qualifies them for second best team in Marble League.
Wait.
Because there's no other
in terms of statistics.
There's no other contention for that. Well, who would you argue is better than Cat's Eyes if they win this year? Who would you argue?
In terms of points total, I think O'Rangers is up there.
No, but O'Rangers they're out of glory right now. They started good in like 2017. They started strong, but where's their Marbula 1 victory? And where's their victory since 2017?
No, but
they won Did they not won? They won M1 season.
Yeah,
they won M1 season 3. O'Rangers.
Wait, are you saying best Marble team or best Marble League team? Because there's like two different things.
Bruh, Brendan, you got something's wrong with you today, my guy.
This is what I think. This is what I think. Yeah, I made some mistakes. See, I got a little hazy. It's been a long time.
Jesus.
Oh my. Down at the space hospital with Hazy.
Wait, the Savage Speeders are repeat Marbula 1 champions? That's crazy.
No, they're not.
I did not remember.
Oh, yeah,
that.
they are. Yeah, they are.
Teams championship standings. They've won season 4? Jesus Christ. I mean, this team is far and away the best. No, yeah, screw the Cat's Eyes. I was wrong again. Akanon, you can make fun of me for the next day. The Savage Speeders are your best team forever. I mean, like, listen. I mean, 2 Marbula 1 champions. I did not know that. I forgot. I'm hazy.
Man, you really forgot.
I'm literally
everything.
hazy, considering that marble is never going to see the light of day again. I'm literally hazy. Okay? So, I'm sorry. I've made 2 major mistakes today, and I'm going to own them, and I'm going to let Akanon take this one. He gets this one. I made 2 big mistakes. Now, don't blame me. I've been off for months, okay? So I can't remember everything. My life is not allowed for a lot of marbles. But I'll just let Akanon host next week's podcast.
Oh, my gosh.
It happens. Right. It happens. Even the greatest of marble connoisseurs do not. Fine, do it. I don't care. Just do it.
That
would be fun. I mean, I'd like to see what he did. I'll be a guest on his show. I'll be a guest
What
on his
the-
show. I mean, no, I feel bad. I mean, those two are valid mistakes. Those two are valid mistakes. I made mistakes. I made a case for something that did not have facts to back it up. I should pay the price for that. I'll take responsibility.
But we had a planned guest a guest lineup that we were trying to go through.
Oh yeah, sorry, Akanon. Never mind. You can come on. You can come on.
We can't
with
just throw our
Synth.
guests to
Yeah,
the
what-
wind.
Wait, who's coming? Synth is coming on next week, right?
Well, no, S-Man, like he said, like he could do like around like 3:30 p.m. EST.
That should work next week, next Sunday.
All right, yeah, and then then we had to work out Synth because Synth can't do these time frames
All right, we'll
because
work
of
on
work.
it.
So we gotta.
So next year, next week, S-Man can come on, and then Akanon can come on and host that for half the episode. And use
host half of what?
I don't
How
know.
do you-
I don't know. We'll figure
How do
something
you
out.
host half an episode?
I wouldn't. I can't either. Edu. Anyway,
This
That's
is we have other guests who requested to be on before Akanon though, so we like they get priority. We will see if there's an open spot. If he wants to come on, that's great. But like if we're doing this hiatus system, that those people who asked to be on will be waiting for
they get to be-
several
he
months.
He'll get on later. Waff, do me a favor. Make a note to cut out the part where I was wrong for 5 minutes because I think it's not actually listening to the show.
Heck no.
No, but see, like, no, I think it's terrible, dude. It's terrible misinformation. Like, it's not just
But
me
then
having an
but
opinion.
then you admit you're wrong at the end, so it's fine.
No, right, but then leave that in. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, because like it feels like that's like something where I made a case about something for 5 minutes, and then it was terrible misinformation for people who listen. If someone listened and stopped before I was like, oh yeah, that's actually not true, then they're gonna think that information. That's
No,
terrible.
but
That's not
You
good.
can
Don't
put
worry.
text.
There's no one in the community who is going to forget that the Savage Speeders got 2 wins in M1
I
and that
did!
the Rangers won. There's
Okay, for the record, I'm wrong. But Cat's Eyes are not the best team in Marble League, but they're certainly acting like it. Can you at least admit that team has presented itself over the last few years as a team that's a real problem? They're a real problem.
they have done better than they've done in the past. Yes, they are showing that upward trend. We'll see if it continues through this season.
If
though.
I had
they didn't do
remembered
so well in
that
Steeplechase,
team-
but then again, Steeplechase has
that's a
problems.
stupid
They
bet.
finished.
If I remembered that team hadn't won a Marble League, I would have put them on my times 3. I'm an idiot.
Or no, they did do well in Steeplechase. My bad,
They-
right? Yeah,
They
like
came third.
I'm sorry.
I think.
They'd have been
They
sucks.
came third.
third. Although their official rank I think is
I'm not
5th.
scratching out the records. I'm simply trying to protect truth. I mean, I like truth more than I like my opinions. Okay.
Don't worry, we already did protect the truth. You just look stupid as a result.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then it is what
Crazy
it is. Okay.
crap.
Yes, 6th. The Cat's Eyes should have finished
Okay,
6th in
that should make
Steeplechase.
sense. Crazy Cat's Eyes have finished, I believe, four times they finished in the bottom half of the Marble League. 2018, 2019. No, three times, sorry. Because they finished 11th last season. They did, actually, I just checked. So they're definitely not the best Marble League team. Or not even the top 5. They're like 8th, 9th.
So that was a mistake, but they're on the rise. I love them. I love that team. I have a hoodie for them. I've been wearing it. It's the hoodie that I have signed by Gel, yay, Dreg, yay, Dion. But I have it signed by all 3 of them. So one day I'll stop wearing that hoodie, cut out the signed part, and kind of frame it or something. But if you know what, this is what I'll do. If JMR ever reaches 2.5 million subscribers,
stop.
I will stop regularly wearing that hoodie, cut out the piece that has their signatures, and frame it, and then be done. That 2.5 million, I'll do that.
That's
It's a weird thing to promise, but okay.
No, because I don't see every time I wear it and every time it washes, even though it's permanent marker and it's pretty solid, the signatures fade ever so slightly.
Yeah.
Now, part of me doesn't care enough to stop wearing it because it's like, okay, it's not like these guys are at this point going down in history of the world. They're just a nice YouTube channel that I love. But you know, if they get big enough that it's like, okay, you know, I should keep that strip of cloth around, then I'll go ahead and do it. That's enough. Ghazi, is that it from you? Any other thoughts?
no. I'm interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. Big Tower was still a big miss for JMR this season, especially with the Bumblebees derived from the after all from the Hublina tournament, and they won in the big tower event. Well, they didn't win, but like that's how they won the championship over the Midi Maniacs. So, which tells more.
All right. Well, thank you again. Oh, there you go. He's saying something. I don't know. Okay. I think we're good then. So thank you, Ghazi, for coming on. It's been great.
Yes, thank you so much.
You've had some great opinions. You've had more facts straight than I have. And that is how it is. This is how life is. And we will sign off from here. That's been the first show in 3 months. You're gonna get 4 to 5 more before we go on hiatus again. And enjoy this year's Marble League. With all the mistakes, it's still a fun time. Waff?
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Thank you for sticking with us for this long. Hopefully it shouldn't be this bad next week because we won't have drama. Hopefully. With that, I will say, roll on, Marble Sports fans.